Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Million Pound Mission Podcast. It's your buddy Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and this is episode number 320, Cleansing Protocols and Autoimmune System Hacks with Elissa Goodman. This is a jam-packed episode, a lot of really, really helpful stuff. Before we dive into this one, let's catch up a little bit on what is coming down the pike here. We've got some really exciting events happening that I'm going to be out there attending. If you guys are around any of these areas, please let me know so that I can connect with you. Here in a couple of weeks, I'll be in Orlando, Florida for PodFest. I'll be speaking at PodFest. Then I'm going to be heading out to Growth Now Movement Live at the end of April out in Reading, Pennsylvania. And then I'm heading to KetoCon to speak in June in Austin, Texas. So if you're around any of those areas, hit me up on Instagram at Million Pound Mission. Let me know. Maybe we can do a meetup. Maybe we can grab a bite to eat. Maybe we can get a workout in, do a few deadlifts or something like that. What else? Oh, our live event. Let's not forget to talk about that, Adam. October 2nd and 3rd here in lovely Bloomington, Indiana. We've got Million Pound Mission Live 2020. I've got 15 speakers on the roster, and we continue to add. I just added the low-carb legend, Jimmy Moore, to the lineup. We've got the entire Vega family, Danny Maura. The boys are coming out. We're doing one day entirely low-carb lifestyle. The next day is level up. So it's low-carb and level up, and we are going to blow your mind. Faces will be melted. We are 1/3 sold out on the tickets. The ticket prices are getting ready to go up, so snag a ticket while we've got them and while the prices are low. millionpoundmission.com. And then last thing I want to talk about before we dive in here is in the next week, I've got a major announcement coming down for you, actually next Monday, where we are going to be talking about our new upgraded free community, and you are not going to believe all the amazing things you're going to be able to plug into for free. Your favorite price, free. It's going to be amazing. So just sit tight on that, and we'll see how efficient I am with the old web skills. I may have something up on the website already, so you could peruse over at millionpoundmission.com and see if I have something up there for the Mission Possible community. If it's not there yet, it'll be there within the next 7 days because we are launching that sucker on the 9th. That's 1 week from this episode release date. All right. Here we go. Let's dive in with the question for this week. Do you guys ever get confused about all the different cleansing protocols that are out there and whether or not you should even be using any of them? All right, I know there's a ton of stuff out there, all kinds of books, podcasts, websites about different types of cleanses, why you should be doing, who should be doing them, and it's just super confusing. So today I'm bringing in a cleansing protocol expert to help us figure out the answers. And Elissa Goodman is on a mission to educate and encourage healthy, mindful living and to help others embrace the concept that we are a product of what we eat and how we treat ourselves. She is an amazing lady with an amazing story, super inspirational, and she just brought the knowledge on this one. You guys are going to love it. We discuss things like the impact cancer has had on her health journey and how she coaches others because of her own journey that she's been on and what she's experienced. We talk about the keys to a good cleansing protocol. We discuss who should even be using cleansing and how often they should be doing it. And we talked about the hacks to reduce our risk of cancer. Super important stuff, right? This is one you're probably going to want to share with somebody that you know that's really interested in investing in their longevity, investing in their health. This is a good one. So without any further delay, let's dive on into episode number 320, Cleansing Protocols and Autoimmune System Hacks with the amazing Elissa Goodman. Elissa Goodman, welcome to the Million Pound Mission Podcast. How are you doing today, my friend?
Woo! I love that name, Million Pound Podcast. I'm good. I'm really good today. I'm in sunny California. I know you're wearing a jacket there. I see.
Yeah. I'm in the pod bunker and it's cold. I have to turn the heat off so it doesn't make noise in the background of the podcast. So I'm sacrificing for my audience.
I know. I'm on my way to Atlanta and I'm like, it's the high's 50. I'm like freaking out. So
freezing. You're gonna have to. Yeah, I'm very jealous of the weather that you get out there in California, but we get the lovely fall.
We get fires and we get earthquakes and we get a lot of shit. So too, right? You guys don't get that.
Yes, yes. And you're somebody, you come from what I call the Allison Melody friend funnel. And those people always produce amazing interviews, amazing conversations. And I've been really looking forward to this one because you have expertise in areas that I'm very curious about that I would like to level up my own knowledge. And I know that my audience hasn't heard a lot about the areas that you can kind of deep dive on. So this is going to be a good one, people. Take good notes. And let's maybe start with a little bit about your own story. And I'd actually love for you to, this is kind of an awkward place to start, but I want you to tell us about the day that you found out that you had cancer and how your story of from that point to now, how that evolved.
Yeah, that was not a very good day.
Yeah.
That was, yeah. I actually was getting a massage and sitting upright like I am, talking to you. And the masseuse felt a lymph node on my collarbone right in here. And she's like, you shouldn't have swollen lymph nodes there. You should go get that checked out. I mean, you usually, have swollen lymph nodes on your neck. That's normal, but not, other places of your body as much. So I did. The general practitioner I went to, just felt it. And he's like, holy shit, this could be cancer. I mean, that was his response. I'm like,
Wow.
what? I'm 32 years old. Like, what the hell? And then he sent me off to get a, biopsy, then to an oncologist, the whole gamut. And the way that those doctors treated me was so horrific. They had pegged me almost feeling like I had stage 4 and I was going to die. When you hear cancer, you think you're going to die.
Yeah.
And I was 32 years old, hadn't had kids, just married prior 3 years before that. So it was a little like, and I had a dream job and I moved to LA from New York. Everything seemed great until then. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's like interesting. I mean, the doctors are like, before we even stage the cancer, they're like, you're going to have to do chemo, radiation, freeze your eggs. Do you have a donor maybe for a stem cell transplant? And I'm like, oh my God. It was so this one doctor in LA, it was a third opinion I went to. I didn't want to go to him. He was an oncologist. A friend said, just go see him. It had been staged by that time. It was like a stage 1. It was an early stage. Okay. And that oncologist said to me, what's your life like? Are you happy? Are you stressed? Are you doing what you love? What's going on with you, emotionally? And I was like, oh, that's such weird questions from
Yeah.
a doctor and oncologist. And he really changed my life. I burst into tears and I'm like, I am so miserable. I'm always stressed. I'm always anxious. I never feel good enough. I never even feel when I think I do things perfect that it's okay. Like my guard is never down. I never feel an inner sense of peace. We just moved from New York where all our friends were, and I'm in LA and I hate LA. Absolutely. It's, you go to work, people like have to travel 30, 40 minutes to go home. There's no like camaraderie where you just walk to a bar and, have drinks with somebody. It's like, it's really hard to meet people. And so he said, we need to get you back into like a better place because a lot of this stuff is mental.
Yeah.
And it's physical, but that mental mind is huge. So I went into therapy. I started reading self-help books. I went to then go see an acupuncturist. I went to see a naturopath. I dove into health and wellness, and it was cool because LA was a place to do it. I mean, Mrs. Gooch's before Whole Foods. There was a juice place walking distance from where we lived. It was like the first juice place in LA. It's still there. It's called Beverly Hills Juice. I mean, I just, it was a great acupuncturist all over the place, yoga, they were doing meditation. So it was great that I got to like do all that, but it was a very scary time. I mean, prior to the diagnosis, just in a nutshell, I'll just tell you because your listeners might relate to this, but I was always sick. I had a low white blood cell count when I was born. And so I was always getting everything, chickenpox, mono twice, strep throat, tonsillitis. I mean, digestive issues, like allergies. I was constantly sick. I grew up in Arizona. Plus, I had a family who was very, like, they were type A and they were very successful. Both my parents were educated, successful. So they were running circles around me. And so emotionally, because of that, I just never felt good enough, like I was ever going to be where they're at. And they were older, and here I was younger, and I didn't have the energy they had. I mean, they were just they were incredible. So between the physical aspects of what I had and the emotional, it did a number on me. And it was no surprise. The cancer was a huge wake up call for me. And I did, dive into all of this. I did do some radiation. I chose not to do chemo. I felt like chemo was just going to destroy me at that time. It was many years ago. They've come very far with chemo, but in those days they just blasted you.
Yeah.
And so I did half the radiation. My oncologist actually fired me. So I had to find an oncologist radiologist because I didn't do his protocol. He was like, "You're going to have to take your life into your hands." And I kind of had that feeling like I'm an Aries. I'm bullheaded. I'm stubborn. I'm like, I'm going to kick this sucker,
Yeah.
you know, and it's early stage. So I went and did half the radiation. And when I did the radiation, I did get, they radiated my thyroid and, all this upper portion of my body. I got hypothyroidism Hashimoto's after that. So it wasn't without some other health issues.
Right.
But I did go on to have two healthy girls, and they're 24 and 21 today. And they're pretty healthy, I guess I should say. But 11 years after my diagnosis, my husband was diagnosed with lymphoma as well. I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he passed away a year and a half after his diagnosis at 45. So it was like that whole period of being involved with cancer and then having your loved one,
Yeah.
and having two girls at home that are 10 and 7 who had two parents who had cancer, and then had a dad who died when they were that age, was that was probably more that was more traumatic than my cancer diagnosis.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
So,
sucked.
yeah, so many questions are running through my mind right now. Let's bring it to your daughters, because as a parent, I'm thinking like, all right, if I had cancer and my spouse had cancer, like the genetic roulette that's happening here could be a disadvantage to my children. So what are you doing to set them up to succeed? Like, what type of advice are you giving your kids that we can all kind of learn from, as far as making, like, kind of, obviously we can't totally prevent cancer from happening if it's a genetic thing, but how do we set ourselves up to kind of stack the deck in our favor?
Great question. I don't think our cancers were genetic. So I think our cancers were highly emotional. There's a book out there that I love. I think it came out 2 years ago, called Radical Remission. So anybody who has cancer should actually read this book.
Yeah.
Kelly Turner did 10 years of research on stage 4 cancers, and they all healed holistically. They didn't do Western meds. And she came up with 10 modalities. This was so eye opening for me. 7 of them were emotional. It's trauma, it's stress, not feeling good enough, it's not honoring yourself. It's all of those. When our subconscious is constantly playing messages like you're not good enough, you're never going to be good enough, you're not this and you're not that. Your immune system is down regulated
Yeah.
because it's all negativity, right? So both my husband and myself were definitely in that emotional mode, and we were trying to play, keep up with everybody. And I think that it was really hard on us, and we both had that feeling of we're never going to get there. And then we were big sugar addicts. We also ate a lot of animal protein. I'm not saying that all of those things will give you sugar, but we were partiers. We didn't really take care of ourselves. But I think a lot of that is, I definitely think these days, genetics play, maybe, like, there's all different studies, but maybe at the most 10%,
Okay.
90% is lifestyle. So for my girls, also another book that I read by Alyssa Rankin, she's a doctor. She says that the first 7 years of your life, your subconscious is fully downloaded. So that's when all my cancer people, autoimmune people that I see on, in my practice, they all had trauma: divorce, death, sexual abuse. And it doesn't just have to be that. It could be someone saying, you're really not good enough, you're not
Yeah.
smart enough, you're fat, all of those things. I mean, when you get those messages that our parents don't really know how to deal with us, they're trying to keep us in line, right? In those early years. And some of us are really impacted by some of the stuff that they do, or that the friends we come in contact with slight us and are not nice to us. That can be in our, we operate 90 to 90% out of our subconscious. So I think that this cancer stuff and all these diseases are really mental.
Yeah.
Like it's really all about, and the weight, all that stuff is like, you know what, we eat our emotions, we don't feel good, and then we're just like, okay, what the hell, we're just going to go for it, right? But
Yeah.
sometimes when we get overweight and we eat bad things, and so I put them into therapy really early. I really talk to them about everything trauma wise. I'm a little out there with all this stuff. I definitely am into all the alternatives. I've
Yeah.
even into psilocybin and ayahuasca, and I've done all that stuff because of the trauma.
Yeah.
Just to see like how I can release this trauma from my body. Energy healers, Reiki, all that stuff. There's some good, really, and even meditation. There's some great stuff out there that can really go in and release some of that, trauma that we're holding into in ourselves and our DNA.
So if your best friend or a family member were to be diagnosed with cancer right now, and you're going to put together a natural healing protocol for them, what would that look like? What would some of the key points look like as far as treatment goes?
So the key points would be, it'd be, it definitely for me it'd be food related, and it would be really trying to get in to heal their gut, and to because that's where the immune system is, that's where your mood is, your serotonin is produced. So it would be to protect their gut, because if they're diagnosed, they're going to go through treatment. Their gut's going to get really blasted. So I would put them on a protocol of, I'm a believer in probiotics. So all my clients I am always testing out different supplements. I would put them on a strong probiotic. I'd put them on probably collagen powder, because that is helpful for healing the intestinal linings to keep it strong. There's a lot. L-glutamine is an amino acid. It's
Yeah.
also a collagen powder that helps, heal the gut lining, and bone broth and that kind of stuff. And then I would get them juicing. So I would try to get nutrients into them at a cellular level while they go through treatment, to really, because we don't get nutrients at a cellular level. I don't think we break down our food enough to that level to get the vitamins, the minerals, the phytonutrients, the antioxidants. I think that, that's an issue. So I get them juicing, and I know right now there's a big celery juice craze with the medical medium, and everybody's juicing celery. It's pretty cool because he's got people juicing, and he also has, it has so many vitamins and minerals in celery, and it has like, it's very hydrating, and we're a very dehydrated society. So I think that it's exceptional. But I would get them juicing with no fruit, because I'm not a sugar girl
Yeah.
at all. Sugar's a killer for cancer. And then I'd get them more plant-based. Not that they have to go vegan,
Right.
but it just, getting parade soups into them, or chunky soups, and things that would be easily digest, and just getting those nutrients into them. That would be, and then I would probably turn them on to maybe one of my healers to like just kind of get themselves back in their body. Because I think we get, of course, right out of our body, our heads here, our bodies here,
Yeah.
and we don't even know it, right? We're just used to that.
Yeah. And we know that stress in a stressful environment, a stressful headspace, that's a breeding ground for disease. Like that is just a fact. And you hear all these amazing stories about people, improving their results with cancer treatment, no matter what it is, with like watching funny movies and just
Yeah.
laughing every day and improving their mood and their mindset, and their results really take off. Or somebody like I love Hal Elrod's story about his cancer and his whole miracle morning practice, how he just shifted his mindset and just totally blew away the diagnosis that he was given as a death sentence, basically, like you were talking about. So
Yeah.
amazing things are happening
Yeah.
all the time out there with people changing their state mentally, and that's changing their state physically as they go through something rough like this. So I'm
Yeah.
100% on board with that. And one thing that I want to ask you about that I don't want to forget, because I know that I will. When you talk about juicing, I have this weird thing about juicing. I hate that the pulp. I feel
I
responsible for the
knew you were going
pulp.
to say that.
I feel so responsible for the pulp. Like I will just sit there and I will just eat it. And I'm like, oh, let's just eat this. I don't like wasting. I don't like wasting anything.
I know.
So what are your recommendations as far as a juicer that you like, and then what do we do with the pulp?
Oh my God, that I know that is a great question. You're absolutely right. There is a lot of waste. There is that pulp. I mean, I try to compost the pulp, as much as I can. But you're right. That's tricky. But and also you can freeze it and you can like throw it into a smoothie if
Yeah.
you're like also a juice smoothie person. Um, but that's a good question, and I don't have the best answer to that. I don't know. You're right. We're juice and smoothie people, and some people are juicers and some people are smoothie
Yeah.
people, and you don't have that waste with the smoothies. I just feel like juicing is like a liquid IV of vitamins and
Yeah.
minerals, and it can cleanse your blood. It goes right into the bloodstream. So smoothies take a little longer. I mean, not much longer. So I
Yeah.
mean, they're great too, but you don't get as many veggies as you do with the juicing.
Right.
Um, but I do love smoothies. I love smoothies with great greens powder. I mean, I think they're magnificent.
Yeah.
So they're both great. They're both great. But you're right. That pulp that's left in that container, and the juicer is just a Breville Cold Fountain Plus.
Yeah.
It's like $180 on Amazon, and
Nice.
it's not expensive, but it's really changed my life. I mean, I'm 59, so like my skin, just my energy, like, and it really helps cleanse and detox people.
Yeah.
It
And
helps the organs.
just so say your age again, 59.
50.
Like I'm gonna put this video up on Instagram, and I'll put up a poll of who looks older, and I will win that
No,
poll.
I no, I don't think I can do that. You
100%
look
of the
like
time.
you have a baby face. You're like so young.
It's
No.
my ring light, if anything. Um, and I think we also just started a new hashtag of hashtag pulp guilt. It's all in my head. I'm like, oh, the
Right.
pulp, the pulp.
I
What do we do with the
know.
pulp?
No, you're
Like I'll
right.
toss it in stir fries or something like that. Like I just have to
Absolutely. You're
use
absolutely
you know,
right. Soups, stir fries, you can do stuff with that pulp. Yeah.
hashtag pulp guilt. Let's hear it
Hey,
on
could you
Instagram.
just do a pulp salad with like a good dressing?
Totally. Totally. So if you guys also, if you're suffering from pulp guilt, then we'll have some ideas. Maybe that's like a free mini course we'll put together. Who knows? Who knows? We'll cure your pulp guilt. Now, another topic that I'm really inexperienced with, and as I thought about our interview in this conversation, I thought a lot about growing up and watching my mom try different diets slash cleanses, and it gave me a negative mindset around a cleanse. Like she would do like the cabbage soup cleanse and stuff like that, and she would
Right.
just hate it and be angry and hangry about it. So I've never personally tried or recommended any cleansing protocol, but I'm super open to it and open minded about it and interested in it. So I'd like to have you kind of educate both myself and my audience on like what do we look for in a good cleanse? Why should we be thinking about doing a cleanse? And then we can kind of roll from there. So
Yeah.
wherever you'd like to kick off that conversation, I'll let you have the floor.
That's another great question. Um, really, what's happened is I think cleansing, right, has gotten a bad name for itself because of your mom, yeah, and
Yeah.
because of starvation, deprivation, and hangry. And when I started my career after I got certified in both Eastern and Western nutrition, I did cleanses for Cafe Gratitude. It's an LA restaurant or California restaurant. I did a cleanse for M Cafe. They were 5-day cleanses, and I did a cleanse for Erewhon. You have you been there?
No.
It's a natural food. Oh my god. Okay, so it is a premier natural food market in the country. It is amazing. I have a juice there. It's Elissa Goodman's thyroid juice, but it has everything healthy and it's all the top end brands of all the healthy stuff. But so I handheld these cleansers. Cafe Gratitude was raw and vegan and cold food. Okay, M Cafe was macrobiotics. It was hot and raw and cooked. So I did these cleanses with Cafe Gratitude for like 4.5 years, M Cafe for 6.5 years before I started my own, and I watched what worked and what didn't work. And interestingly, the raw vegan cold cleanse didn't work for a lot of people
Mm.
because it's like, when you're used to eating animal protein, you're used to eating warm foods, and you're really stressed and your cortisol's high. When you're eating raw vegan cold food, your cortisol levels go higher, and you can get revved up. That kind of, it's great in the summer and it's hot and it's 90 and 80 degrees out. But during the most of the year, it's not great for you.
Right.
So MCAFE was more balanced, that macrobiotic way of eating. That's the way I eat. So I love that. And that was more successful for people. It wasn't a huge transition. Cleansing is about taking out sugar, added sugars, gluten, dairy, processed foods, anything GMO. It really is about eating real food. So that's why it's gotten a bad rap. I mean, my soup cleanse that I do here, it's been 6 years now. I cook and deliver to 100 people every month, sometimes 150. And it's tonics, it's soups, it's salads, it's salad dressings, it's pickled vegetables, it's lattes, it's a homemade super seed bar. It's a bone broth. It's a lot of, but it's all organic. It's 45 different vegetables in 5 days. And you can reset your body in 5 days just by taking out the bad stuff. So that's what I call cleansing is, you've already done that. I'm sure that you've already done a cleanse.
Right.
Because you just take out the crap and you just eat real food, whole, organic, not processed, real food, and your body knows what to do with it. And it loves it. So
Yeah. Your body, it makes your body happy because you're putting it in a more natural state to heal. And that's what
yeah,
the whole point is, right?
yeah.
We push our body in it's like building a muscle. We break down muscle tissue, it comes back stronger. And the same thing happens that's how our body grows and operates and prefers to be. So
Yeah, it's not about deprivation. Like that's
yeah,
what people get, or starvation. I mean, people in 5 days, I have had people lose up to 10 pounds. That's extreme. It's more 5, 6 pounds in the 5 days. Still, that's pretty damn good
yeah,
for just 5 days. It jumpstarts them, and then they can see, wow, I don't have to starve myself. I can eat real food. I just have to eat, really high quality, good food.
right. So if somebody's going to do a cleanse, there's a lot of crap out there. Like there's good, it's just like anything in health and fitness, especially. But it seems there's a lot of like celebrity endorsed cleanses that I'm like, ooh, that sounds kind of terrible. So can you give us a few check boxes that we should check off to know that we are doing something that is legit and that's actually going to be healthy and helpful?
Yeah. So the first thing is um, hydration, and we're a very dehydrated society. So easily any of your listeners could do this program on their own. We don't drink enough water.
Yeah.
So mandatory 16 ounces, 2 cups of water with a little lemon in the morning is cleansing, hugely cleansing for your intestines. It also a little bit alkalines the body for the day before you jump into your caffeine, stuff. So, if you can drink high quality, just filtered water throughout the day. And now a study's come out that women need 90 ounces, which is 3 liters. It's huge. Men need, I think, over 100. That's a lot, but that doesn't mean you can do a green juice that can be added in there, decaffeinated tea, those kind of things. A soup probably will be added into that 90 ounces, but we just don't drink enough and we're so dehydrated. So you got to check that box. Like
Yep.
we need to be drinking a lot more. I have this hydrating powder that I love. It's Ultima Replenisher. You can get it on Amazon. It has minerals in it. So what it does, it helps the water go into the cells because we drink all this water and we pee it out. So that's super cleansing. That is like then I love the fact of either adding in, a really high quality juice, but usually people have to kind of do it on their own because I'm a purist. Or go to a place where that's juiced and then you drink it right away because the nutrients stay intact. Or a smoothie, it's easy to do a smoothie with a great high quality greens powder. Pure Synergy makes this greens powder that's amazing. And you can just throw it in with a nut milk, with like some frozen berries. It doesn't even, and a protein pack, like, hemp seeds basically
Yep.
are, just simple. Those are all on my 7 days. So it's just like getting in, though, just trying to get in nutrients. I think that's what the cleansing is
Yeah.
all about. I just, and then pureed soups, it takes 15, 20 minutes to make with some veggies. And then you throw in some white beans or you throw in some cashews to make it creamy. Or if you don't have any, plant-based protein, you throw in hemp seeds before you eat it. That's like, those kind of things are cleansing. And again, don't starve yourself,
Yeah.
just like basically Because I don't know any cleanses out there that don't do that. I mean, there is Sakara Life is a raw, vegan plant-based cleanse. They do a great job with it all. But if you're a vegan and that's the way you want to go, um, they do a great job, and they send it to you. But I don't know a lot of other cleanse programs that really do that. In
Yeah.
terms of, and Prolong I'm sure, have your readers, do you know about Prolong?
Yeah.
It's like that fasting mimicking protocol. I mean,
Yep.
talk about starvation. The food tastes like shit, but there is a strategy behind it.
Yep.
They're killing off bad cells. They're talking about longevity more so than weight loss, but people are losing weight on it. Too bad someone can't make one that's healthy and tastes good, without the starvation
Right.
carbs. But usually these cleanses are about starvation.
Yeah.
I know a lot that are out there that are really just whole food based, where you can do it on your own. You don't have to be tied to something like a protocol. I mean, if you just add in some, like I said, that water protocol, sleeping, getting 8 hours of sleep, doing a meditation 5 minutes a day to lower your stress levels, all of that I think is cleansing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like if we are going to fast, then let's do fasting.
Yeah, that's
I feel like fasting and cleansing, there's people that confuse the two, and they're like,
true.
I'm cleansing, so I'm supposed to not eat and be hungry all the time. Like, no, that's fasting.
Right,
So
right,
that's totally
right.
different. Um,
I do like the intermittent fasting. I mean, I do like the 16 hours to
yeah,
give your body that digestive system a break. I don't do it like just pure water in those 16 hours. I get up and I'll have my 16 ounces, and then I'll have coffee. I am a coffee girl or a matcha girl. I have to have caffeine, but I'll put collagen powder in
yeah.
my coffee so it satiates me. And then I'll do a green juice. But I just don't do anything that I like food wise that I have to digest.
Now that's the second time you've mentioned the caffeine and the water. So I want to ask a question about that, because I've heard some different thoughts about this. So you want us to hit the water with lemon early. How long do we wait until the caffeine gets introduced?
You don't have to wait at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Our body has been cleansing and detoxing through the night. That's when all the organs are doing their job. And especially the liver is, taking all the, like a lot of the toxins in the body and the hormones and just like a lot of stuff in the fats. And they're trying to convert it to a safe form to excrete it out of the body. So they push it into the large colon, and we need that out of the body. So the organs are kind of like prunish in the morning, like
Yeah.
they've been sort of working all through the night. So that's why it's an easy no-brainer. If you
I
just do that, you can change your life sometimes.
Yeah, and I had a person I interviewed on the show that referred to it as flushing your inner toilet. Uh, where you got to get that first chug in. It's kind of like flushing your inner toilet, and it gets
That's
everything
so true.
flushed out of there. Yep, yep.
Yes. Yeah,
And
and the cool thing is if you don't go straight to the coffee and you do a juice, like talk about like, oh my God, just an incredible IV, sets you up for the day of
yep.
nutrients. And yeah, that's like that. Those two are the ultimate for me.
So when it comes to a cleanse, like a structured cleanse, let's say we're going to follow one of your protocols, and it's like 5 or 7 days. How often, like what's the frequency you recommend? Is this a once per month, once per quarter, twice per year? What are you seeing people see the best benefit from?
Well, I mean, my lifestyle is cleansing.
Right.
So I kind of feel like people should incorporate this kind of modality into their life.
Yeah. Okay. That makes
They will
sense.
change their life. I mean, forever. I mean, like, I know at my age, I just never felt better ever. But it doesn't mean that on the weekends, I don't go and have a shot of tequila or a couple shots of tequila, and I'll have a pizza or a pasta, or I'll go to a friend's house and, they're serving something, a cheese platter or something that I'm not, mac and cheese or something, and I'll eat that.
Yeah.
But like the rest of the 80% of the time, I'm gluten free, dairy free, sugar free as much as I can. And I'm just trying to eat real food. And I think that's cleansing. I don't know if that's, confusing for your clientele, but I think that if we just, really incorporate, like after a bad night, I will go, do my water, do my juice, and kind of get my body reacclimated. I mean, it doesn't have to be hard. I'm trying to teach people, you don't have to jump into a 5-day
Yeah.
program. So you can jump right back in on a Sunday if Friday and Saturday were bad, right? So that's what I'm trying to do.
No, I love that. And I love the idea of just living a cleansing lifestyle versus like I've got to do a 5-day cleanse once per month and like
Yeah.
feeling that like I'm already getting stressed out thinking about that,
Yeah.
like I got to map out my calendar and get all the supplies ready to go.
And also,
But
yeah, then you have like events during the week and you can't do them because you're on a cleanse. I can't go to dinner with so and so. I mean, that or lunch, business lunch or something. I mean, yeah, it's
yeah,
tricky. I don't love that. I
yeah.
just want people to have the freedom to, be able to ebb and flow with all of this.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of those situations where we're looking for that minimum effective dose with our lifestyle that produces this a similar benefit that you would get from doing like an intense, cleanse that doesn't necessarily fit with our lifestyle. So
Yeah,
I like that philosophy a lot.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you've given us some of your cleansing hacks, some of your cancer hacks, and things like that. Some protocol that you would implement. I know you have a lot of new things that you're getting ready to introduce around the autoimmune system and really giving us an advantage to overcome certain autoimmune issues that a lot of people just see as like, oh, I'm just stuck with this forever. So let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, I know. It's like, just to tell you, we all have microscopic cancer cells. We all have pesticides and mercury, heavy metals. We all have viral issues. We have fungus. I'm sorry, I mean, everyone's going gross. We have
Now I'm stressed out, Elissa. Thank you.
microbial stuff. I know you're like, oh shit, how much do I have? Parasites, we all have this shit in our body. We do, but we have it going on. I mean, we've had people do biopsies on people and they go in and they could see that we do have all of these things that we've been percolating in our system. And so what I'm trying to do now with like all this autoimmune stuff and cancer protocols and people that I work with is lower these toxin loads in their body. And basically, if we can lower, we can get tested to see kind of if we have any Epstein-Barr or viral issues or fungus or, heavy metals or pesticides, we can lower all of those levels because those are wreaking havoc in our system and they're not doing good things for us. And when it doesn't mean we're going to get, autoimmune or cancer if we have them, but if they're laying dormant in our organs and in our tissues, and then we're not sleeping well and we're stressed and we're not eating well, it really like they do raise their ugly head. That is, I feel, what happens to this stuff. Or you go through a traumatic experience and then they're like, boom, they're right in your face, right? So I love the fact of like with the protocols I was talking about with the lifestyle, that is lowering toxin loads. And then there definitely are herbal remedies out there that are amazing for lowering these toxin loads. And in my autoimmune hacks, I talk about all that stuff. I mean, when I jumped on the bandwagon to heal this Hashimoto's 3 years ago, I did it with the medical medium. And he's not a doctor. I know there's no science fact research with him. He's very out there, but he totally jump-started me. And he gave me a simple protocol to lower toxin loads. And it was like bioactive silver, which is Silverone bioactive silver. It's a natural antifungal, antiviral. It's been around forever. It's really great. I mean, it goes in the system. It combats toxins. It kind of helps carry them out. There's liquid zinc that does that too. There's golden seal, echinacea golden seal. There's astragalus. I can go on and on. I know your listeners would, but there's a lot of great protocols and things out there that have been around for centuries that will lower these toxin loads. So that's what I'm doing with like my autoimmune people. I'm lowering their toxin loads. I'm building up their immune system. I'm just getting their gut healthy, with rebuilding their gut, because that's where the immune system is, as we talked about at the beginning, and just really getting their stress under control, maybe dealing with some of these traumas that they've had to deal with, and getting them into a better mindset. And then just getting them eating healthier has been miraculous, like life changing.
Yeah.
So there is, I mean, it's really been fun because I think what causes inflammation is the toxic overload in our body. So we talk
Yes.
about inflammation, right? And we're all anti-inflammatory, inflammation, but we're not getting to the root of the inflammation. And that's why I love functional doctors out there who do these amazing tests that can get to the root of what's going on in your body. And look at nutrient deficiencies or foods that are bothering you. Because we have all these protocols, it's like mind numbing, keto, paleo, where, vegan, right? Which direction should I go
Yeah.
with that? No lectins, with autoimmune stuff, or no soy, or just no dairy. I mean, like, it's like, whoa, your head is ready to explode, right? You don't know which direction to go.
Right.
No nightshades. So I think it's a little crazy making for a lot of people out there when they go on Google and the internet and
Yeah.
they look up their ailments and they're like, oh shit. Like they don't even want to begin.
Yeah. Yeah. Their frustration that even in the world of podcasting, I talk about it a lot. Like there's overwhelm. I'm a podcaster and I love everyone's downloads, but like I did a whole episode on fitness podcast overwhelm because we have all these experts on
Yeah.
and we feel like we have to implement everything that all the experts say all at once or take away all the things that the experts recommend to take away all at once. And we're like, where do I even start? So yeah, there's a lot of frustration through the volume of information that's out there. So on that point, what's one like quick win autoimmune hack that our listeners could implement that you think like, okay, they'll feel better if they do this one thing just to kind of get them rolling in the right direction?
Right direction. I mean, like I think I said earlier, I think we just can't over talk about this or overstate this enough. It's like, it's really sleep. One, sleep is like, we just feel like some of us don't need a lot of sleep, or we can't sleep, these days because we're so anxious and cortisol levels are so high throughout the day and we're over caffeinated, right? But sleep is where your body resets and regenerates. So your body resets between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And majority of the people do not go to bed at 10.
Yeah.
And it's sad. I mean, with all the electronics these days, but if you get 8 hours of sleep consistently, you can get your body a little bit back to where it needs to be. But we are so deprived of that.
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
basics.
yeah, and the stress. I mean, all these great meditation apps and things out there which are amazing, and just everything that's happening to just kind of get our brain into a better space, just to get it to stop overthinking. For me, it could be 5 minutes in the morning. I just listen to something for 5 minutes so I get grounded for the day. So, those are like, it doesn't have to be like my whole antiviral protocol.
Right.
But it's really, sleep is just doing a number on us. We're definitely not taking care of ourselves with not getting enough sleep. Like
Yeah.
5-6 hours is so not enough. And there's all these studies, like you get 5 hours for a certain amount of time and it's like driving drunk,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
with an alcohol level of, just not where you want to be. So yeah, we're not giving our body that chance to just recuperate.
Yeah, and Alyssa, I'm so glad when another expert backs up things that I'm already telling my people. Like that's like, oh, validation. This is great. But I talk about all the time. I've got these people. We do like hot seat sessions. They're like, oh, what fitness protocol should I be doing, or should I be doing 6 hours a week or 8 hours a week of working out? And I'm like, back it up. How many hours are we sleeping? And they're like, oh, I get 4 hours. I'm fine. And I'm like, no. Like when we aren't getting sleep, like we're not healing. But
Yeah.
also it impairs our decision making. Like our willpower is lowered, so we're not making solid nutritional decisions. We're giving into temptation and
Yeah.
all that. So it starts with that foundational amount of sleep. It's so important.
Yeah, I mean, my husband, he didn't sleep a lot. He was very much a go-getter and climbing the corporate ladder. Maybe 5 hours was what he got. He would get up at 5:30 to do Barry's boot camp every morning. He was a regular there, and yeah, it was like, and definitely he was stressed all the time. So
Yeah.
when you get up, as you know, at 5:30 and you're doing Barry's boot camp, which is hardcore, cardio,
Yeah.
and your cortisol levels just skyrocket, and they stay skyrocketed through the day.
Yeah.
It's not exactly, yeah, he was in great shape. So when he got diagnosed, everyone's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
This guy looks great. He's young, he's healthy. So I'm not saying that, oh, again, that gives you cancer, but I know that he just didn't think he needed sleep. So
Yeah. Yeah. Prioritize that sleep,
yeah,
people.
yeah.
All right. Alyssa, I feel like I could go for another hour very easily here. But I want to make sure that people can get connected to you and get plugged into your universe if they want to dive deeper. And I know that many people will have questions for you, so just be ready.
Okay.
I've warned you about my audience. They are active.
Yeah,
They are participation champs.
I'm excited
So
about them.
yes, yes. So how do people, just get into your universe a little bit deeper and get some more info?
So I have a website, and every week I send out a newsletter. It's like it talks about a new wellness tip, as well as a healthy recipe. I'm a big foodie, so I love to cook. I love to eat. So we do that every Tuesday. So if you sign up for my newsletter, I get that. And there's a lot of information on my website. It's been going on for like almost 8 years now. And I'm on Instagram, of course, that whole social media platform, which I do not love, drives me crazy, but ElissaGoodman.com, I'm mostly on Instagram. I have Facebook, but mostly I do Instagram. So and I have a YouTube channel where for the last year and a half, I was actually interviewing like wellness game changers. I slowed up a bit because of my book. I'm just trying to get that,
Yep.
working on that. But yeah, it's fun to be able to like expose, people like yourselves to my audience as well. And
Cool.
just because there's like you're interviewing all these people and like they don't really know where to go. So if you vet them right and say, hey, this is a good person, and they know what they're talking about, and it's someone you should follow, it makes a big difference
Yes.
because
Yes.
they believe in you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've
I,
led them the right direction.
Yeah, I enjoy being a connector of people. That's one of my greatest passions is getting people connected to people like yourself that you can solve problems, and that's what it's all about, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So I like to leave our audience with a little bit of action, and I want to ask you a question that will hopefully lead to a little bit of implementation from our audience. So, if Elissa, if you could wave a magic wand and eliminate either a negative mindset or just a common mistake that you are seeing from a lot of people, what would that be?
That would be the lack of self love that people have for themselves. Because clients come in and I'm like, do you love yourself? And the response is no.
Yeah.
99%. I mean, 1% I get, yes, they love themselves. Yeah, nobody loves themselves. And that's so crazy. I mean, I didn't either. So I totally can relate to this whole, that feeling. But we don't honor ourselves. We don't love ourselves. We don't feel like we're worthy to be here. And we are. And we are such incredible humans. And we have something to offer. Every one of us has something different to offer, right? But if we don't have self-love, we can't offer our magical, gifts that we have to offer. So sucks. Because I know I lived being 59, I think I just got the self-love thing, and I'm sad to say 2 years ago. Like
Yeah.
I just realized, whoa, I don't love myself either. So,
It's amazing. I talk to a lot of people that are fired up about their health journey, and I tell them up front, I'm like, listen, reversing your health momentum might be the hardest thing you ever do, but the good news is you're worth it. And the people that need you to be around, they're worth it. And
yeah.
so that's why we put in the work. And that's why people like you and I are out there cheering them on, right?
Yes. Yeah, because you can heal anything. You can heal stage 4 cancer, you can heal anything,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's possible.
Well, Elissa, I appreciate your investment in my show, our community here. You are out there making a difference. You are somebody that I'm just excited to introduce my audience to, and I feel like that connection will continue past the interview with
I hope
yourself and
so.
my audience and
Yeah.
us. And I just appreciate the investment. I know you have a lot of opportunities to get out there and coach and teach, so I appreciate you spending some time with us here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be on your show. So it's so great to meet you.
My
I
pleasure.
know what you do too. I mean, I'm impressed.
Excellent.
massively
Well,
impressed.
that means a lot coming from somebody like you.
Yeah.
I hold you in high
Okay.
regard, and you have well over delivered even on that today. So yeah,
Thank you.
we'll continue to support each other. And
Okay.
once your new book comes out too, like we're going to get behind that and make sure that we get that out there for people because, like I said, I feel like you are putting tools out there that are high value, and that's what my audience needs.
Okay. Thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
everybody. So now it's all about implementation. We've given you a lot to think about. I want you to set that 24-hour implementation alarm and just pick one thing. What's that first domino that you want to flick over just to create a little bit of positive momentum? Maybe it's a mindset shift. Maybe it's adding more cleansing protocols into your lifestyle and creating that cleansing lifestyle that Elissa talked about today. But what's that one thing we're going to implement in the next 24 hours to get out there and own it? Every meal, every workout, every day. I will see you on the next episode. Well, hey there, good looking. I want to say thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Million Pound Mission podcast. And I've got a favor to ask you. If this episode made an impact for you, would you share it out with one person? Help me spread the message of the Million Pound Mission and add some fuel to the fire of our goal to achieve 1 million pounds of amazing results. And speaking about that 1 million pounds, if you haven't gone to millionpoundmission.com lately and donated your weight loss, please do it or I'll never reach my goal. So head on over to millionpoundmission.com, donate that weight and spread the word that we are on a 1 million pound mission together.